Okay, now you should probably be able to hear me. So I was having that whole conversation on. Man, all right. So if you weren't hearing me, you got to check me out on the other stream. Nation, thank you for tuning in and letting me know. On the other stream, I had the audio, so a lot of it. So I guess it's gonna be a vertical recording. I guess for most of it. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for stopping by and saying that. Because I have it on two streams, and I guess I didn't set it up on the other screen. So now I should be heard on the other one. But this one, I guess, is mostly gonna be a vertical, a vertical recording. I guess for at least this half, it was just supposed to be a recording, but I guess we'll just keep on recording. Just have at it like this. Maybe have this part of the episode as part of the podcast and just have like one version like this and then switch it over to this version where it's just like fully so you can hear me, or maybe I could just dub the sound. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. uh yeah, hey nation, I appreciate you even if you just tuned in. I appreciate you. I can't say it enough. Appreciate you for telling me, man. um Damn, that's crazy. That's what I get for trying to do something different and change stuff. But it's all right. It happens, you know. Mistakes happen. Got to fix stuff. Learn to change stuff because I did do a couple of changes and the thing crashed on me earlier, so I didn't realize that I didn't have the audio. But appreciate you for letting me know. But okay, where was I? I don't even I lost my train of thought because I know I was talking about the stuff like that the units do and like stuff that people get into to say that uh to get into the situation of just like, hey, this is what's going on with this unit. This is what this unit is doing right now. So one of the things going on with retention right now is just like people don't have an idea of what's going on. That's what we're saying. People don't know what's going on with retention. They don't understand. They don't see. They don't get the visuals. Um, there's no study, I guess, that you can make to make people understand that it's just like, hey, there's this shit wrong with the army. There's shit wrong with the military. It's not that people don't understand it. It's just that people ain't doing shit about it. Like people ain't doing what they need to be doing in order to progress, in order to develop, in order to mentor people. You have soldiers, like I said, they have that good feeling like, hey, I've reenlisted. I did this. I got a week off, or whatever the case may be. I got a couple of days off, couple of 4-day passes, over the weekend, so I could go travel. Or um, some have the also you got the school reenlistment where it's just like they get to go to school for 6 months and they're away at school for 6 months. They just got to come make sure they have all their documentation and stuff like that. But then at the same time, shit like that doesn't happen. So you got people that re-enlist for certain things and then they don't get it. So then it's just like people don't understand the fact that it's like if somebody re-enlists for whatever option it is and they don't end up getting that option, you just screwed that soldier over for the idea of him being able to re-enlist or able to take part in something that he thought he was going to be able to, but now since shit changed, he's still under contract. Because the thing is that's the crazy thing about it is there's no like voiding a military contract. Once you sign it, it's signed. But the thing is the military sometimes doesn't give you what you're supposed to get when you sign up for that reenlistment. So like I said, with those 4-day passes or those passes, some people have them, some people don't even get them. Oh yeah, you can take these days off. Oh man, but we gotta go to the field. We're about to deploy soon. Um, we don't got the time right now for you to be able to go and take a couple of days off. Like, bro, it's just one person. You can't give him the time off. You can't let him like take those take what you told him he was gonna get for reenlistment. You ain't gonna let him have that. And be like, nah, man, we'll take care of you once you come back from deployment, or you come back from leave, or whatever the case may be, or this JRTC or NTC rotation. You end up doing that, and then all of a sudden it's just like you come back. You either forget that you had those days, the unit sure as hell forgets. The unit ain't gonna mention shit about you missing days on the way back. And then if you ask for it, it's like you look like the asshole because it's just like, oh, now you just trying to get out of shit. Like, no, bro, I'm just trying to get what I was told I was supposed to receive, but now y'all making it seem like I'm the one that's bad or the one that's wrong for actually trying to take part in these situations. So that's things that people don't understand and people don't see, and they don't collect that information and see that, and that's something that needs to be understood. Like, you need to understand that if you tell somebody, hey, I'm gonna give you this time off, or I'm gonna give you this incentive, and you don't give it to them, they're not gonna want to do this shit again the next time. And then you forget that it's just like, if you did that to one soldier, that one soldier is not gonna be like, oh, I didn't get my incentive, I'm gonna just stay quiet about it. That shit don't work that way. They're gonna say something. They're gonna realize, and they're gonna be like, hey, yeah, y'all decided to not give me, y'all decided to not give me my incentive for reenlisting or being part of the military or deciding to continue with the military, but y'all decided that I should still continue with this. I should still do this. I should still sign up and reenlist. But like I said, it doesn't happen to everyone. But you have pages like Army What the Fucks that people will submit their shit and be like, hey man, this is going on here. It was just like we said we was gonna get this or something like that, and they go on these stories. And the thing is I know big army sees this, I know the military sees this, but they stay hush about it, and that's where the problem is. Sometimes you can tell that sometimes they reach out and shit happens and shit changes. Some people have gotten relieved and stuff like that, but that's not always the case. You have issues where people go through these things but nothing happens. Why is retention low? Because you didn't do what you was gonna do, or you didn't give them what they you promised they were gonna get. You didn't take care of them like you were supposed to as a leader. And then it goes into those leaders that is just like, hey, all I want to do is make sure I can fluff up my evaluation. I did this, I created that. You didn't create nothing. You just, like I said, sometimes it's just making it more miserable for soldiers because of the fact that it's just like, you didn't get to do this. Now, if you got a sergeant major that decides, hey, you could stand on my desk and reenlist, I could tell you that that unit probably has better retention rates. But that's something that doesn't get spoken about. You can look at certain units, and then the thing is the funny part is some of these units continue to have the same bad leadership over and over and over and over again. When I've mentioned before that some units don't have that, some units are literally like, you get the best fucking leadership you can fucking imagine. Like it's like the army does it to you on purpose to get you to reenlist. It's just like, you know what? You've had a shit ass commander the past year and a half. We're gonna give you the best fucking commander we can fucking find, or the best leadership combo we can find. You get them, and then it's just like you start loving the army again because these people make it worthwhile. These people actually look out for you. They give you time off. They actually train you. They actually give you the tools to become better and develop. They want you to get promoted and stuff like that. And it's just like that shit feeds into you, and it's just like you get suckered into like, yes, I'm gonna do this reenlistment. I'm gonna do it. Let's do this. Let's do it. And then the next iteration of leadership is just fucking trash. And it's just like, bro, what the fuck did I get myself into? And it's just like I just signed up to do this, and then all of a sudden it's no longer there. It just disappeared. People ain't interested anymore. And it was just like, and that happens with retention the whole time in the military, and people don't understand that that doesn't get spoken about. The leadership aspect doesn't get spoken about because it doesn't get corrected enough to be spoken about. Army What the Fucks has a good thing where they just show people just submit their screenshots. And the funny thing is or what I wonder most is like when it comes to these screenshots, I know these supervisors see them. How many soldiers have gotten repercussions because of that? Because they posted something or they submitted it to Army What the Fucks, even though they make it as, it was an anonymous source. But if you sent the fucking message and you see what you typed on fucking Facebook, it's kind of hard not to know who the fuck you sent it to. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, are there repercussions for these people? Is stuff happening to them that we don't know about? Because the thing is the soldier's gonna hesitate. Like, if you get an Article 15 or you get some sort of punishment for it, the soldier's gonna hesitate to be like, look, man, I sent this to y'all and I got in trouble for it. Chances are they don't do that. You can reach out to them a lot of the times and they'll look into situations because, like I said, they do have some officials in that Facebook page that have some sort of rank or some sort of power and still know people within that can make some changes here and there to stir up the pot or just stir something to fix people or help people out. Because there was an issue I know where I sent information to them, like, "Hey, man, this situation happened while I was in Hawaii. So and so happened. This incident happened where the leadership is not trying to have anything resolved. They're trying to brush it under the rug because the soldier's supposedly like a stellar soldier and this and whatnot. But this person now is dealing with some issues now after the fact of the incident that service member provoked and instigated and executed. Basically, they did something they weren't supposed to out of their realm and they were not supposed to do that, but then nothing happened to it. And then what happened? The soldier got moved. The soldier got moved elsewhere, and it's just like nothing happened. I don't know what happened to that other soldier. I never reached out to the soldier and said like, "Hey, did something happen to that dude?" Um, she didn't care because she got moved away, and that's what happens a lot of the times when it comes to just um just issues because of the fact that it's just like this didn't happen. Why? Because of the fact that the army decided to like brush it under the rug, move it to the side, not do anything about it, or not say anything about it, which wasn't proclaimed. But it's a retention issue. Stuff like that gets around the military. The military community is very small. People don't understand that. Like your MOS is very small. Like certain job types are stuck in their job type. Uh, let me explain that better. So certain jobs basically you are that job and they have units specifically for that job. Some jobs are not like that. Some jobs are more like broad where it's just like no, you can do and be located in any location. One thing I would say like supply clerks or 92 Yankees. Um there's not that I know of many units that is just like straight 92 Yankees, just strictly 92 Yankees. So the thing is you end up seeing these people across. The thing is most of the time it's like ALC, SOC, BLC. That's when you run into these people. Certain jobs like my type, chemical, you have chemical units. Otherwise, you are located in any damn unit because any unit can have a chemical soldier, but they have chemical units. So that's where you get to meet people, and that's where you see people, and you end up running into them down the road again. Like I said, whether in ALC, SOC, or just like in certain another company or unit that's chemical, you do that. Infantry units. They're all over the place. Sometimes you get to run into people, sometimes you don't. You have ammo dogs, the 89 series, the Bravos, the Alphas. Um, they have ammunition companies, and that was something I was in Germany. They had the ammunition company, so they get to know each other and they work with each other there. They go to another place, they have ammo units. The cooks, they work at the dining facility. That's another one there. They're usually like that. So you end up running into people and you end up seeing them later down the road. But it's something that doesn't get spoken about because the thing is, this word gets around. I was just like, oh yeah, this dude's an asshole. Why is he an asshole? Oh, he did this, and that. He got accused or he got hit with this, and then they moved him around, but he's still in the army. Type shit always happens in the army, and that's the shit that people don't speak about. But this page does a great job of just highlighting stuff when people submit it though, but it's based on people's submissions. Like they'll submit stuff and just put stuff in there, but those are like the feel good stories of just like, hey, these are the weekly photos, this is the information, this is the call for attendance. That's the stuff that they like to put in there, and they like to showcase people so that people see that and understand that, like, hey, this is what's going on, this is the information we're giving y'all, this is what we want y'all to see, and this is what we want the people to know that the army can be. And then they show this is why the army is the way it is, this is why we're losing people. The biggest comment, if a comment that goes on every one of them, is just like, man, I'm glad I got my DD-214 or wrapped up in my DD-214 blanket. When you see some of the stuff that is just like, units have, some people have that mentality in the military, just like, hey, if you're working, that means I'm working. Like, bro, what? Like, no, if you got something you need to do, that doesn't mean I have to stay. But some people have that mentality where it's like, hey, if I'm staying late, you're staying late. Even though you completed your job, you're gonna stay late. And that goes into leadership. It's just like, why would somebody want to stay in a situation where it's just like continuously people wasting their times? The biggest factor I see also is like when you have people on TikTok. You get on TikTok and you do the, what is it, the hashtag MilTalk, I think, or something like that. And you see all these people speaking on the situations like, yo, why is leadership so trash? This, and that. And the thing is, it's funny because then you see it on the comments, it's just like, I was just talking about myself. Or something like they want to speak out. It's basically them speaking out and trying to have a voice to say something. But the thing is then they have to protect themselves, because the thing is somebody sees that there's always going to be somebody that decides, hey, you know what so and so said? So and so said that leadership was trash. Y'all don't do shit. Y'all worthless. This, and that. Somebody's gonna go and report that, and then that leadership is gonna be like, "Oh, hey, Private Cruz. So I heard you said this about leadership." I was just like, I didn't say any specific names, did I? That's a general point of view. I have a right to say what I want to a certain degree. I didn't disrespect anybody specifically. I didn't say a name. I just said leadership needs to be better, and that's it. I didn't mention no names. But then the thing is that would mess people up is just like, well, if the shoe fits, that's how you end up getting in trouble, because you just be like, well, the shoe fits, you wearing it. That's not my problem. But then they're gonna make it your problem, and then you get blackballed. You end up getting put on these details that nobody would want to do, or they end up shipping you away and stuff like that. The opportunity for you to get promoted goes out the window because they always find that you're not ready to get promoted. Um, and that's something that tends to happen a lot with just like issues all over the militaries. Is just like that happens a lot where people don't understand, just like you once you get put on that list of just like that, people don't want to work with you, or you're a troublemaker, or you're actually a good leader that looks out for soldiers, but we don't want you there because we don't want you to protect these people. You get put on those lists. Basically, it's not an official list. You get put on there and you get put to the side, and that goes into leadership, that goes into the retention issue. It just tends to happen that way. But the thing is nobody talks about it. Nobody can actually prove it, I guess is the way of saying. Because you talk to these old heads, you talk to the, and that's the other thing. You a lot of the old heads is just like, you could tell the difference between leaders that were in the military before and people that were just straight shitbags. When you talk to veterans, and I'll say that I probably catch some heat for this, but don't give a shit at the same time, because it's like, y'all know who y'all are. Some of y'all are just pieces of shit. Some of y'all weren't worth a damn. Some of y'all just used your rank to take advantage of people or take advantage of the situation. But then are always the first ones like, hey, back in my day, we did this. So it was like, look, the back in my day story is good when it's actually positive and it's actually teaching somebody. When it's the back in my day, it was like, oh, we used to do this shit. Now people are just weak nowadays, bro. Some of y'all didn't even have cell phones in those days, so y'all were made to do stupider shit or dumb shit because y'all didn't have the technology to do that. And that's the thing, is just like, some people don't have the fucking mental capacity to do that. I was just like, if you can't adapt to the thought of this generation having more technology than you did, you were probably a piece of shit soldier in the first place. Because if you can't fathom the thought process of the adaptability of modern day times, that shows that you couldn't adapt back in those days. You were just one of those, I just listened, I did what I was told, I didn't think for myself kind of people. And it shows. It shows. Cause you see that shit on this channel alone. I see that. That is just like some people are just rude as hell for no reason. Like just today, I had a comment on one of my videos basically telling me to get rid of the music I had on my video. I have people that dislike my videos even though they're informational videos. The information isn't wrong. Now, if the information is wrong and you dislike it, I understand that. At least let me know. But if I'm giving you information that you don't really know or people don't know and you still disliking my stuff, why are you doing that? Like what am I doing to you kind of stuff? And that's the mentality sometimes that veterans just take, and people in active duty deal with that also. You can ask a whole bunch of service members now. Just walk up to a serviceman, you see him in uniform, he's like, hey man, you think you're gonna do 20 years? A fucking TikTok video where they just be like, fuck no. Emphasis on that shit. Why? Because of the stuff that's going on right now. People don't want to do that shit. It's just like you look at it, it's just like ain't nobody's trying to deal with that right now. Nobody's trying to deal with the military. Nobody's trying to deal with these issues where it's just like people are doing the best they can, but are still being screwed over. And it's just like you want them to do 20 years. I was like, hey, congrats to the service members that make it those 20 years. Don't get me wrong. Congrats to that. I appreciate that. I think it's fucking great. It's amazing. Like I said, not everybody went through the same circumstances. Some people went through some negative circumstances. Some people went through some positive circumstances. That's stuff that people need to understand that it differentiates on each level. But at the same time, like, just because you did 20 don't mean any different from the person that did 4. And that's another thing. It was just like, let's just tear each other down. And it shows. And it's just like, if you're doing this out here when you're no longer in the military, what were you doing when you were in the military? Because the thing is the problem is oh, this generation of soldiers don't do stuff. It was just like, watch Army what the fucks. Just look at Army what the fucks and tell me that the shit that you were doing was okay. So you goes through these same situations, and most of y'all be like, well, back in my day we didn't do that. Back in my day, we didn't have to do this. Back in my day, we just took that and just like, yeah, because you were just a non-thinker. You were a person that was not a leader. You were a follower. There's a difference between that. A lot of these soldiers now, they have leadership qualities, but if you don't develop them into leaders, they don't want to be followers. I was like, you want an NCO to be a leader. You want an NCO to lead troops, but you don't want them to lead. You don't want them to take initiative. You see it as they're thinking too much for themselves. I was just like, well, because maybe your way of thinking is outdated, but you don't think of that. People don't think of that. People just, well, I've been doing this for 20 years, and it's just like 20. Like I said, 20 years ago, people barely were getting cell phones. Now information is pushed out through cell phones. Before, it was more like, hey, we're gonna have a closeout formation. Closeout formation. Hey, this is what's going on. This is what we need to do. That's even if y'all did that. The other issue I seen it was a I think it was a staff sergeant. I'm not sure if it was a staff sergeant or sergeant, and she was just ranting on her phone like while driving home. It was just like, yo, why the fuck is it that at 16:20, which is at 4:20 in the afternoon, are you telling me and giving me information that needs to be completed by 1700, so 5 o'clock? So you telling me all this shit that needs to be done within these next 40 minutes for us to be able to leave at 5 o'clock? Mind you, we've been here since 9 in the morning. But you had this information, but decided it wasn't important enough then to let everybody know so that we can work on this stuff instead of trying to cram everything till the end of the day when people are trying to go home. People got families, people got kids to go pick up, and then you wonder why people don't want to deal with the shit anymore. I was just like, if you sitting around all day at work and then they say, man, look, you getting ready. It was like, hey, got half an hour. I'm about to go home, see the family or see the wife, see the girlfriend, whatever the case. And then it's just like, nah, man, we gotta keep you. We gotta keep you for till we done. What does that mean? Keep me till I'm done. It was like, oh, it might be an hour, might be an extra 2 hours. We got to complete this task. When was this task put out? When did we have this information? Oh, at 9? And y'all tell me when I'm going? Like, and the thing is like soldiers can't just upright and leave. If you're in a civilian job, you just gonna be like, man, fuck this shit. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. I'm not wasting my time here. I was like, what do I look like wasting my time doing? No, hell no. And they go and they leave. But the thing is it doesn't always work that way, and people don't understand that. It was like they just can't up and leave. You, on the other hand, got to deal with it and you stay. So, like, let's say it was date night or family night or movie night. Now you just got to cancel your plans because somebody's mismanagement of time and fucking soldiers affects you going forward. Now, if you're stuck in a unit, because like I said, leadership usually stays around for like 1 to 2 years, depending, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer, depending if they have a replacement or not. But imagine going through that for 2 years of having information, it not being put out, you not completing your tasks, not completing the issues you need to do, and that just continues to happen for 2 years. That puts a strain on your family, puts a strain on your relationship, puts a strain on your kids. I was just like, you don't get your kids to like the soccer games or like basketball games, like shit. The shit I made sure to get out for a reason for that was just be able to spend more time with my family, and that's something that doesn't get spoken about. I mean, what the fuck's will push that out there though? It'll say certain things, but it's not specific because they'll block out names and stuff like that just to make sure protect soldiers. But like I said, if the shit gets sent and it's a screenshot, I can read a screenshot and know, damn, I sent this. Damn, I'm on Army. What the fucks? I'm like, I'm on this website now. Like, I'm there and I'm gonna stay there. Stuff like that doesn't get evaluated enough, doesn't get noticed enough, and people don't realize that enough to fucking that makes a change. That makes a difference. Not being able to do that is hindering the military. Not giving people extra time off. Like the fucking study. The other thing, they did that study. The army did the study, basically asking and checking, like, hey, um, are soldiers getting enough like dwell time or rest time in between deployments or rotations? Mind you, I believe it's like for every month that you are deployed or something, you're supposed to get 2 months back. So basically, let's say you've been, I think that's the thing. I'm not sure. Somebody may have to correct me on that. But if you've been gone for a year, then you come back, you should be having 2 years off after that. And I could assure you as hell, humans don't do that. And then the crazy thing was is the information was classified. So the study information was classified on the rotations. Bro, everybody knows people go on rotations. That's not hidden information. Now, when the specifics are, that's the hidden information. But people know, like, hey, you go on a rotation. Shit, for Riley, um, it was Kuwait, Korea. What was the other one? And now it's Poland. Now they go to Poland all the time. First they were doing rotations that it was just straight to Kuwait back and forth. Now then it became South Korea back and forth. Then it became Poland back and forth. Shit, I was in Germany for 4 years, and the 101 BSB out here, the first unit I ever came to, was out there for at least 2 times. Which if I'm out there for a year, that makes no sense because the thing is you came out for 9 months. That means you should have 18 months off usually. And then the thing is most of the time if they have those 18 months off, within those 18 months before you get sent out again, you go to a JRTC or you go to an NTC, so that's another month gone prepping, going to the field. So it's just like, I understand we are the military, we got to continue training, and that's where a lot of those old heads was like, oh, we used to train all the stuff. Oh, it's just like, is it worthwhile training though? Are people actually learning what they're supposed to be doing, or are people just going out to the field just to go out to the field? The other time they also put that picture out, and this one was on TikTok. It was a picture of a dude on in crutches in the field. Why? Because people need to make their numbers. And that I think is one of the craziest things when it comes to like those commanders trying to be kiss asses. Hey, we got people that are injured that won't be able to make it, but we're gonna send them out to the field just to say we are combat ready, and we're gonna take everyone out to the field, even though they shouldn't be out in the field. Especially if you're on crutches, you shouldn't be carrying a weapon, and you shouldn't be with your gear on you. But they'll send them to the field and do that. And Army What the Fucks has done that also. It's just like, what is this guy like? What? And then people will be like, man, thank you for my DD 214. Well, I'll just wrap up. Be like, I just came in to say, I'm still nice and warm in my DD 214 blanket, like stuff like that. Because people just like, really, man, like you sent a person that was injured, and then people think it's just like, oh, well, that's why you have benefits, bro. What benefits? Benefits don't matter if you can't function correctly going forward. People don't understand. Vets don't understand that. A lot of people like he'll go through that and it's just like, oh, well, that's what you get for joining the army. But then you're mad because they get the ven- that's I don't even want to go into that situation because that'll start a whole nother thing, a whole nother issue with people. But you have people getting sent to the field injured, like literally injured. They're in crutches. Now, why are you putting this person through this? Isn't the whole emphasis to make sure you are fit to fight and able to fight? But if you are in crutches out in the field, still carrying stuff, chances are you may injure yourself more. But they don't care because they just see it as, oh, we need this percentage of people to be out in the field for us to be able to say we are green. The green slide where every commander likes to fake the funk and say we're green, or that's the biggest emphasis when it comes to supposed leadership. But when it comes to like training, it's a green slide, but it's not actually green. Why? Because most soldiers don't fucking learn anything. Like like my time in Germany, people were not getting fucking trained. There was no training being done. People weren't learning shit. It was just like information was there. You went out to the field. Like a field rotation, when I was at Riley, we went for a long ass time. Here in Germany, it was just like literally like 2 days, maybe 3 days. Like you literally went out there, set up, slept that night, spent the next day there. Then the third day, you already prepping to leave. I was just like, that's not training. I was just like, people weren't digging no foxholes. People weren't making no changes, weren't doing anything to actually of value to teach soldiers what the fuck they were supposed to do in case they were actually in a combat area. I was just like, hey, this is how you make a foxhole. You ask a lot of these soldiers, these generations, they have no idea what a foxhole is. They don't know how to build one. They've never actually gotten their fucking military issued shovel and gotten that shit dirty. You can probably see a bunch of these soldiers now, they just have it. But that's not on the soldiers. And that's what a lot of these older veterans don't understand. That's not on the soldiers of now's fault that they're not getting the training that you got when you were a fucking soldier. People don't understand that. Like, the training is not the same. There was more training going on back in those days, but the training is not the same nowadays. But the thing is you blame the soldiers for the lack of their knowledge or the lack of their training, but you don't blame the fucking supervisors, which shows that it's just like a generational thing that continues to happen in the military. It's always, oh, blame the soldiers. These soldiers are weak. These soldiers are weak. These guys are weak. They don't work hard enough. They don't do enough and stuff like that. But it's not these leadership. The leadership is trash, or the leadership has become trash, or the leadership continues to get worse. There's no talk of that, and that's what I think the military needs to emphasize on. It's just like stop making it the soldiers thing. It's a discipline issue. Well, I forget. I need to find which fucking general it was that said that. It's a discipline issue. Mold in the barracks, discipline issue. Certain things are discipline issues. Don't get me wrong. Military does have discipline issues. Don't get me wrong. But there's certain things you cannot blame on the fucking military or on your soldiers for discipline issues. Mold is not a discipline issue. If you got fucking bad ventilation and you got bad structured fucking buildings, that's a building issue. That's you being a leader, getting fucking DPW or getting fucking big army like, hey man, we need to get these soldiers out of here or we need to find a fix this ventilation or do something so that fucking mold doesn't continue to grow in this environment. Nothing to do with discipline. But why is retention low then? it's like you still blame all these things and it's just like you keep looking at it and like I said it's a good thing because you get to highlight these things on there, all these different things. Like there's so many fucking stories, and we will do that when we start having guests on the show. where we're gonna have these stories, we're gonna have these episodes, we're gonna have people coming on and telling us the story of what they went through, what they've gone through, what they witnessed, what they experienced, and then it's just like it's not just coming from me. Because a lot of people just like tune in and see me talking and just like, oh man, this dude is just like a bitter fucking veteran that had a bad time in the military. I was like, no, bro, I had a great fucking time. I had a great time in the military. Shit, I got the family I have now because of the military, and I'm fucking grateful for it. But at the same time, there was a lot of shit that I'm not grateful for that I had to do or endure or deal with while I was in the military. I'm not the same fucking person I was before I joined the military, and people don't understand that. People don't look at it like that. Like shit, you look at a lot of fucking vets, they're not the same person that they used to be. They want to claim they're all big and bad and tough and all that. Bro, you broken now. You wasn't broken before. Training was a lot worse then. It was like there wasn't no, the risk assessments were less. There was a lot of stuff done differently. Technology was fucking different. Y'all didn't have fucking like I said, speaking to a fucking Vietnam vet. I was speaking to a Vietnam vet and he was just telling me a couple of the things he went through. And I was just like, bro, shit has changed. Technology has changed the outlook and the way things is viewed right now, and it is a major difference. But people don't understand that, and people don't view that, and it's just something that people need to understand. Like, hey, changes do happen. Technology has changed. The ability to adapt has to be able to be emphasized more. Because the thing is especially with this retiree recall, I'm just waiting for it because a lot of these retirees got out because they didn't want to deal with the new wave of soldiers. Why? Because you were never taught how to deal with soldiers. You were just instructed or treated in the manner that you were, that you thought that was the right way of being in the military. You see these special forces, like you see special forces and stuff like that. You think these people are doing all this dumb shit? You think these people do it like they know to do these things, they know to train. These people are always training. You think that if soldiers were always training and not having their time wasted, we would have this issue? Fuck no. If you had soldiers being developed throughout the whole time, actually going out to training, doing more shooting and stuff like that, because most of the time stuff happens. Why? Because the commander needs to make his fucking slide green. He needs to be able to update his supervisor. I'm like, oh yeah, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this, and then shit is rushed and isn't planned out. There's not many units that actually have a plan for what they're supposed to be doing or going to be doing. And that's one thing that I know happened in Germany. I was like, why do we always continue to be tasked out for issues? Because we never got any information as to what the unit was trying to do. It was just like, hey, you don't want to get tasked out? Block out some time, like say you're doing training or do something, and then that at least lets me know it's like, hey, these days I can't test this unit because of the fact, hey, they're full of training. But most of the time that never happened. And it sucks because it was just like the soldiers get burnt out. They're the ones that go through this. They're the ones that deal with the issue. It's not the commander. The commander's just like, oh well, we'll do it. No, bro, say fucking no. Still have that one commander in fucking 101 that he just like fought. It was like, no, that's dumb. I looked at him, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he could say that. And that's when I was like a fucking PFC. It was like, that's dumb. We shouldn't be doing that. This is what you should be doing. And I was fucking shocked. I was just like, "They- I didn't know he could talk like that. I didn't know, like, and then that made me realize that it's just like leadership comes from a manner of having balls in the military. You want to be a great leader, you have to have balls. You have to have the audacity to say no sometimes so that people realize that, hey, some things are just not right the way they're doing it, and some things need to be changed. Some things is just like you're going to have to deal with it because, hey, it's the military. That's what you're told to do. But then other times it's just like you can say something and you might be able to influence some sort of change, which helps out that soldier that is in your team or in your platoon, or it just helps out your platoon. Like, hey, why are we doing this way when we can do it this way, this way, and this way, and it's more efficient? We'll do it faster, and we have less of the headaches, and it actually picks up easier when we're trying to get out of the situation. And sometimes it's just that people are so ingrained in the way that they were taught how to do stuff that that's how they do it. Like I said, Army what the fucks. You got a unit that came out from the field, came back into the field, and now they're on the recovery phase. So basically, you go out to the field, you come back, you got to take care of the stuff. But now everybody has to stay late. You're working every day of the week, like even on weekends to try to fix stuff. And it was just like, last I checked, when units came out of the field, you have recovery days, which are not as heavily focused on everything else. Why? Because this is your time to recover, see what's wrong, see what broke, see what needs fixing, see what equipment you might need, repack inventory, go to supply at the end of it like, hey man, we need a couple more new concertina wires because the ones we did we jacked up. We need some rope. We need some more chem lights for the next series. We need the water buffalo needs to be serviced. This like stuff like that. That's what you use that time for, and it's not just like, hey, I'm gonna be in at work. Everybody coming in. Like that's just dumb, and people don't understand that. And it's just like that goes into retention. Like all this little small stuff is just like back in the day, it might have made sense. But like I said, COVID changed that because it opened up people's eyes. It's like we can still operate in garrison. Not saying in the combat zones. In garrison, we can operate by not doing so much dumb shit and actually spending more time training than actually doing dumb shit. Because if you got soldiers on the motor pool on Monday, it's motor pool Monday. They PMCS or preventative maintenance and checks and services. They doing that on Monday. Cool. Make it that everybody drives on Monday. You ain't got shit to do, right? It's Monday. You shouldn't have a long list of all the shit you have to do because you should be completing tasks. If you always have nonstop stuff continuously popping up and developing in your system or your workload, that means you ain't running your shit efficiently or you're not taking care of the shit you need to. Because there's no way that every single day something new pops up. It's not possible. I worked in operations, and we had a lot of stuff, but something new for a unit happening every single day, it doesn't happen. I don't care what unit you say you are, it does not happen. That you have to keep on doing something every single day, and it was just like the task gets put out on Monday. If you put a task out on Monday and that shit is not completed by Friday when it's due, or it might be due the following week, and you have to work into the weekend for it, something ain't right. There's no task that should take you more than a week to fucking complete. If it's like most of the time it's like certifications or computer um certifications that they need to be done. I was just like, hey, soldiers ain't doing nothing, right? Hey, go to the fucking library, go to your room, get on your fucking computer, knock these certifications out. That's one thing I need to ask you, them old head veterans. It's just like, how did y'all do certifications without the computers? Did y'all have like one computer and everybody jumped on that one computer to do it and y'all still got the shit done? Or because the thing is like people make it seem like people nowadays, since like I said, technology ruins a bunch of stuff because they just expect you to be able to do stuff. It's just like, look, if I'm using my phone, that's my phone. I shouldn't be using anything, any government application, anything like that should not be on my phone. It's my phone. Y'all not paying for this. This is my private property. I was just like, I may be government property, but my phone fucking isn't. I shouldn't have to deal with business shit on there. And I seen that happen with one soldier too, that he thought that they were trying to counsel him, like, oh, you ain't answering your phone. He just said it's my fucking phone. Nothing that says you can send somebody to my room to find me. That's how they did it in the old days. Yeah, ain't no complaints there. Now it's just like, oh, you got to pick up your phone. You have to. I was like, look, my phone is my phone. I don't have to pick it up. If you need somebody to find me or something, I'll let you know. If the person's letting you know, like, hey, I'm doing this and that stuff like that. But then it's just like recall formation or something like that. It was just like something happened, recall formation. Cool. Most of the time you get a heads up, like, hey, you might get recalled this weekend or something like that. Or sometimes it's just like, hey, you had a massive DUI fest where everybody was fucking drinking and shit, and it's just like, hey, everybody having a recall, everybody showing up. And then it's just like the question of is just like, people are drinking, people may not have a way of getting there, but you want them to force their way to get there, and then they get in trouble for getting there intoxicated, driving there because you told them they had to be there even though they just told you they were drunk. Like the army is just like, make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. the amount of issues and the amount of things that continue to happen is just like mind boggling. Like, yo, why are people dealing with this stuff? And then it's just like, why are people getting out? It goes back to again retention. Why is retention so bad? You're not giving soldiers time off. You're working them out. You're burning them the fuck out. You work the hardest fucking working soldiers to the ground, but let the fucking people that don't do shit not do shit. Um, Leaders don't know what the fuck they doing. They don't know how to manage. They think they're doing the right thing, and some of them are just fucking evaluation chasers to make themselves look good because they think that's how they're gonna promote. You want to do something different? Your ass will stand out if your fucking unit fucking executes without you having to tell your unit to fucking execute. Not because you have to be on their ass about it, because the thing is you provide them that leeway, you provide them that guidance. Like, hey, this needs to be look this month. Boom. As a commander, that's what you should be doing. That's what you have your fucking XO for. Hey, all these people need this fucking certification by the end of the month because they're due or they might expire in 2 months or a month after the fact. And that's what I would do. I had a spreadsheet of everybody's shit. Your shit is due here, your shit is due there. Beginning of the month, I would try to let people know. It was like, hey man, you need to redo this. Hey, you got an appointment, your PHA might be due at this time. Or you might do and that way you have a flow. But the thing is most people don't know how to manage stuff like that because they don't look at it in a managerial perspective. They look at it as like, oh, a soldier. So then next thing you know, they're like, man, I just got chewed out because fucking so and so didn't do his fucking report. Well, you're a leader. You should be checking on that. You have a counseling packet. That's something you should be checking. But doesn't get emphasized. Soldiers don't get counseled like they should. People don't do it like the stuff that used to happen in those older days where all these veterans will claim and do all that stuff. That shit doesn't happen like that anymore. It doesn't get the influence isn't the same. The development isn't the same. Training isn't the same. It was just like people used to train to train. And it was just like, yeah, it would be dumb. But the thing is, out in the field, you don't have to deal with paperwork. You don't have to deal with the other stuff because you're out in the field. But at least if you have that training within there, people learn something from it. It was like, hey, this is what you do in a circumstance. Like one time I did a damn soldier's time training or sergeant's time training in the field for chemical. And it was like influential to some of these soldiers because the thing is they never knew how to deal with putting on their mask, what they should be doing. The biggest question is always is like, oh, so if everybody has a mask, and who's the one that has to take off their mask to check if the thing if it's good to do that? I was just like in most scenarios you shouldn't have to fucking do that because you should have some way of testing it. You should have test kits to test if there's anything still in the air or you should be moving out of that area in order to do that. There should be no reason why you're having somebody test like, oh, is the environment still clean and take it off. And usually it's the lowest ranking, lowest essential person. Because lowest ranking is not the only thing, it's also the lowest essential person. So if this person is the lowest ranking and doesn't really have a job, that's who would do it. People just think it was like, oh, you're the lowest rank. It was like, no, it doesn't work like that. Because the thing is, the lowest rank could be the radio. They could be the person manning the radio. You ain't gonna take him out. So that goes into it. But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of different things that it just like comes to retention. Army, what the fuck's like I said, that is a great page. Gives you a lot of influence. Gives you a lot of knowledge. Gives you a lot of information that allows you to visualize these things that most people don't get to visualize. And that I think is something that needs to be looked into further because that way it'll help develop and showcase this is why we need to fix the army. This is what we need to fix within the army. I just speak within the army because that's my perspective. That's what I know. But if I look into the other branches, I know there's the same shit ongoing and it still happens. But unless it's the Air Force, it's like the Air Force always gets a good rep because they're always looking out for people and they're not doing all the extra stuff. The army, you got the grumps, and then it's just like, hey, you wonder why people get out. You wonder why people do dumb stuff. Is because you stress them out to that point. It was like people break. Some people break in a violent way. Some people break in a drinking way. Some people develop bad habits, and it happens that way. And it's just like that influence and that information isn't put out there, so people don't understand that. So you need to make sure that is influential towards people and it assists people when it comes to it. But developing people is the biggest thing. You got to develop people. You got to teach them how to be soldiers. You got to show them what a soldier is supposed to be, what they're supposed to look like, how they're supposed to act, how they're supposed to execute certain things, but at the same time, give them the leeway to execute in their manner, because your way is not the only way. My drill sergeant used to say, "Let me skin this." What was it? Let me fuck this cat. Some shit. It was something outlandish, and it was just like, bro, what? It was just like, but basically, hey, look, you do this, I'm gonna do this my way. Basically, still gonna get the same result, but it's gonna be done in a different way. Let soldiers be soldiers. If you have to discipline them, discipline them. Do it the correct way. Don't do it out of spite. Do it within regulation. Do it that it actually teaches people and it shows like, hey, this is not tolerable activity or motivation or your way of doing things. It's not tolerable. This is not what we do here. But make it that it's actually a positive thing for that soldier and for those around him so that they see, like, hey, he did this. All right, I shouldn't do that either. Not, well, he got away with it. Fuck it, I'll try it. But that doesn't get spoken about as much. But like I said, that's different instances, different things, and it just comes to it. And it's just like, hey, this happens a lot in the military. This happens with retention. Where there's a lot of issues that we need to speak about that aren't spoken about. And like I said, Army, what the fuck's it? It encompasses everything within the Army realm of the good, the bad, and the ugly, which I like to mention a lot. So that's something. If you haven't, go check out their page on Facebook. Just skim through it. You'll see the different stuff. You'll see funny stuff. You'll see aggravating stuff. You'll see soldiers of different generations giving their topics on it or giving their scenarios or just like, hey, this happened to me. Well, I worked with this guy and that guy's excellent, stuff like that, because they do those shout outs. But like I said, retention is a problem and it will continue to be a problem till we fix those issues. Still keep the discipline, still be soldiers, still be those killers that we need to be when the times come, but at the same time be a human being and actually take care of those people. Because if you don't take care of them, it's just fostering a negative thing that is just like, hey, we're going to keep on losing service members. We're going to keep on going through these dropping numbers because we can't get these things done and we don't have the support that or give them the support that they need. So this will conclude this will conclude this episode of Cruise Talks. Uh, we did have our little technical issues at the beginning, so we might edit this a bit differently. Try to get the audio, if we can get the audio, work it that way, and then we will develop our podcast and we'll push this out. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all with the assistance. Appreciate y'all as always. Take care of each other. Look out for each other. Veterans, look out for each other. Stop hating on each other. Stop being negative towards each other. Help another one out. Make their day better. Make someone else's day better. Make sure somebody continues to stay and continues to move forward because you decided to be that good light and not that negative light in their life. Appreciate y'all. Just Cruise. I'm gonna be signing out, y'all. I'll check y'all out next week. Sunday, we will do our veteran podcast. Well, we might do a veteran podcast every Sunday and do our workshops on another day of the week. Possibly. We'll see. We'll do some iterations and changes. We'll see what works, what doesn't. But I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will catch y'all on the next time and see y'all. Peace.